Okay, well, hello everyone. Welcome to Kim and Kasey YouTube. Here's the situation. We have just spent, let me set the scene. We have just spent basically 2 full weeks in a bedroom, in my house, in multiple bedrooms, trying to film this content for y'all. And I thought as a treat to ourselves, we would make this little Q&A video so that you guys can get to know Kim and Kasey, and Aaron, so that you can get to know Kim and Kasey. Everyone, for the first time on camera, this is Aaron. Sometimes I call him Baby Aaron because he is adorable. He is our producer.
Yes.
He is in charge of all the important things to make this channel happen, essentially. The editing, the sound, the mic, the setup, the camera.
Yeah.
Honestly, what don't you do? All of it. Honestly.
I do everything.
And now you're on camera,
Yeah,
and now you have to be on camera.
There you go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay. So, just for context, everyone, Kasey and Aaron don't really know what we're doing right now. I pretty much just said we're going to film a surprise video. It's just going to happen. So, if this sucks, we're not going to post it. But if it's kind of okay, maybe the internet will get to see this.
Okay.
So, the way this is set up, I have some questions here. This is labeled Kim and Kasey Random Q&A.
Okay.
Aaron, you'll reveal the questions.
Okay.
You'll ask them, and then Kasey doesn't know what these questions are. And we're just going to roll with it.
Okay.
Perfect.
I will figure it out as we go.
Okay. Question 1. How did you two meet?
Okay. Okay, I will start in that Kim and I met in EE 235, Discrete Time Systems, which
Tai Cheng Chen,
Professor
shout
Tai
out.
Cheng Chen, in our electrical engineering degree. Kim,
2009, fall 2009.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, fall of 2009, fall quarter 2009. And at the time, I really did not want to be known as a woman in STEM. Like, I thought it was, like, unfair. I thought nobody would pick me for a team. Nobody did pick me for teams. It might have been a hygiene-related
You were, like,
thing.
a little scary looking at the time. I'm not going to lie.
Listen.
Like, I remember seeing you and thinking, this girl needs help. She needs a friend. I'm going to be her friend.
That is probably not an inaccurate description of what was going on. I did kind of have a, like, before picture vibe.
Okay.
We have a very specific before glow up.
Yeah.
Many before glow up photos
Yes.
that we can use, that we have access to.
And Kim was like the shining star. Kim was like always had a cute outfit on. She was like really friendly, friends with everyone in class. She made the best note sheets, like, you know, those note sheets you can get and bring into exams. Like, they were beautiful and everything was on there, and you like designed them. It was like,
what I was doing.
You were definitely the superstar, and you would sit like front row center and like ask all the questions. And now that I'm a professor, you would have absolutely been my favorite student. Like, I was like, oh, this person's so participatory, and I would have been my least favorite student because I would sit in like the very back row, middle, and like wear a hoodie and just be like, nobody look at me.
Nobody look at me. I was constantly peacocking in college.
Yes.
Like, I was a freaking peacock
Yes.
in college, for sure.
Yes, and your colors shone brightly.
Like, peak millennial, like, early aughts fashion. Like, just think of that. It was me.
Kim refused to wear a backpack.
Oh.
It would mess with my outfit, Vaughn. Okay. It would mess with my outfit.
Do?
I made my college boyfriend carry my book bag. I would, like, set up our schedules to make sure that he could walk me across campus, because also I would only wear no less than a 3-inch heel everywhere.
Which I think is correct.
Like, listen, stomping around campus. It was
In
very
heels,
intense.
yeah.
And so, yeah, college boyfriend,
Shout
that
out.
was one of his duties. Shout out college boyfriend.
Yeah. I only wear Ugg boots because the double aughts wear nightmare. And we were in the same section together, and we had homework, and Kim specifically publicly asked me to do homework with her, because we were literally the only two.
Like, in front of everyone at the end of that first class.
Yeah.
I think. I literally was like, do you want to do homework with us? Casey's like 20 rows back.
Yeah.
Up in the stadium seating.
Because it was a lecture hall of like 150 people or something, and it was like a really narrow, tall one. And so Kim from front row like shouted up at the back row, and she was like, "Hey, other girl!" And I was like, "Oh God!" And I like knew she meant me, because in my head I was like, "Please have her be talking to the other girl," but I knew there was no other girl. I knew there was only 2 women in that room of 150 people, and Kim did identify that I needed a friend, and forced herself
And here
into
we
my
are.
life.
What are we, 14 years later? Isn't that crazy to say that? 14 years later.
Yeah, you're right. 14 years later,
Our
she's been my
friendship
best
can
friend.
almost drive a car.
Oh my gosh, you're
Yeah.
right.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Our friendship has been bar mitzvahed, bat mitzvahed.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
we shall quinceañera it.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Yeah, that's solid. Solid answer to that
Yes,
question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good,
Like
good
that.
answer. Good answer. Question 2. What is the weirdest thing you've ever done together?
There's a lot.
Oh goodness.
There's a lot. I have a very specific thing in mind
Oh,
here.
I'm very curious as to what comes.
Okay, because
immediately to my
truly
mind.
there is a lot to choose from.
Oh.
But like high level, my go-to weird fun fact about myself is once in 2014, Kasey had the genius idea to try out for the Seahawks cheerleaders, or was it like Seahawks NFL Seahawks
At the
dancers?
time, they were referred to as the Seagals, but they are now
Seagals.
gender inclusive, and they are now referred to as the Seahawks dancers. We stand. We stand
Now,
a gender inclusive NFL.
Let
dance team.
me ask some questions here. Have either of us ever done cheer?
No.
No. Have either of us ever done dance?
No.
No. I want to know what kind of freaking confidence 2014 Kim and Kasey had to think we legitimately thought we had a shot too. That's the sick part. The sick part is we actually thought we had a shot.
The videos are very
There are
embarrassing.
videos.
There are
Okay, in my defense, it was on the radio, and they were like, anyone can try out. And you get not only to attend every home game as a cheerleader,
Yeah.
but you get 2 tickets for friends or family to attend. I wanted to
this
put
was
tickets.
yes,
Yes,
this was your
yes,
main
yes.
motivation. Yes,
Okay.
Casey's main motivation was this is the best way for us to get Seahawks tickets. Not by just paying with them
They're
with our
almost impossible.
not by just paying with them with our 100K engineer jobs. No, the answer was we must put 20K into dance lessons. Okay, it wasn't that much.
20K.
It wasn't that much, but we spent a lot of money and time. Remember when we went to like 3 dance classes a
Oh, we
day?
did. Yeah,
like
that
2
was-
months leading up to it.
That is true. You're
Remember
right.
when we
This was
only
weird.
ate Jimmy John sandwiches but without the sandwich? But without the bread?
Bodies are beautiful at any weight, but
We have learned that now.
we did choose to go some pretty low carb directions, and I had like keto flu, and I was like counting craisins at work. It was so stupid.
Look, listen, the dumb stuff you do in your 20s.
It was very
Learn from
dumb.
our mistakes,
Fair,
everyone.
fair.
I also have a
Okay.
firm belief that you should do something you're really bad at, like regularly.
Yeah.
And so publicly too, because we had to like get up next to all of those beautiful, amazing, and I just want to say
Talented.
the 2013, 2014 Seagals were so kind to us. We
They
went
were
to all
very
these
nice.
we went to these special workshops, we went to their calendar signing afterwards, and all of them were like, good job at tryouts, probably because they weren't threatened by us.
I think that's what it was.
Because they clearly looked at us and were like, there's no way.
They were very confused by us, frankly, too. Well, and everybody got up there, and it was like, everybody, like, introduce yourself, and everybody had a background in, like, something athletic,
Yeah.
or something performance, or something
Like,
art.
I'm Kim Wynn and I'm a software engineer.
Everybody
And
was
I'm
just
here to
like-
try out for the Seagals.
And they were like, they are open auditions, technically. Technically,
It
they
was
are.
it was very cool. It was a cool behind the
was really
scenes
great.
situation. It was a really positive experience.
I saw the Seahawks in the locker room when we would walk by, because we got to go actually try out at the
Like,
training
at
facility.
their training facility.
So, like, I have pictures in the training facility, and frankly, that's all I wanted. It was great.
Yep.
There you go.
So that is my personal weirdest thing we've ever done.
That is a
Okay.
weird one. I forgot.
Okay.
That one's super weird. Kim and I used to try to convince Microsoft, like, future possible interns or recruits, like we called it a sell after we put the offer out.
Okay.
Like, our job was to get them to sign their offer, and Kim did the math and realized that for the same price of taking them all out to a fancy steak dinner, we could instead take them to Mickey's Halloween party at Disneyland. And somehow, one time, Kim convinced them all to wear white shirts with black spots, and I got a full-on Cruella DeVille outfit.
Whoa.
And we took, like,
Full on Cruella DeVille
Yeah.
outfit. And
Obviously.
everyone had these spotted shirts and they put dog ears on and it was
Yes.
so cute and
That's very
so
cute.
fun. We need to dig up.
Yes.
We should maybe
That I
Aaron,
will-
our
we should
producer,
show
we
that
can
photo.
give you some of these photos and we can flash
I'll
them
just-
up.
yeah.
And we'll flash them up on the video
Gorgeous.
as we go
I
through
would
this.
love to.
Yeah.
Insanity.
I remember
That's a
walking
pretty
up to a
good weird
churro
one.
cart, and, like, I was like, can I have 37 churros. And the guy was like, it'll take me time to fry them more. And I was like, I believe in you. And then I swiped
back
my Microsoft credit card.
of churros.
Yes.
That was a very magical experience.
And
though.
all of those
Shout
kids
out.
signed their offers.
Shout out to the California, I want to say that must have been 2016. I feel like 2016 was peak.
Weird.
Larry Bear Forever. Larry, shout out to you for letting me take all of those children to Disneyland. We had an amazing time.
Yes.
Okay, I think that's perfect. That was perfect.
great.
Perfect.
I'm learning so much.
That was weird.
How did you pick your majors in college?
Well, mine's easy because I'm clearly Asian, y'all. If you could not tell from looking at me on screen, I'm Asian. My options were obviously doctor, lawyer, engineer. My dad really pushed me towards the engineer. So like a pretty straightforward, like millennial Asian kid. Wait, Aaron, does that still happen to Asian kids now? Doctor, lawyer, engineer? Generalize for your entire generation, please. Like we always ask all of Gen Z to do.
I love it.
Yes, generalize for all of us, the whole continent.
Yes, I love being the spokesperson. I would say, like, it definitely, there is a trend, like CS is a big one. I'm still engineer.
Yeah.
But, like, from what I've seen, it seems a little more lenient, but I do think it's still a trend.
Yeah. So I went with I was one of those kids, guys. I've been coding since I was 8. Visual Basic, made myself a little calculator. My dad was really into setting up little projects for us. I feel like, though, I will shout out to Mom and Papa Win because I do feel like they did a good job of, like, encouraging, but not, like, forcing so much that I, like, hated it, even though I obviously didn't, do computer science full-time in the traditional way. It's still, like, a path that has led me here, and I'm very grateful for that, for sure.
Yes.
Kasey. Oh, and also, too, I'm a computer science and also electrical engineer, double major.
You know what? And that's a good clarification. Because technically, I do not have a degree in computer science, though I have worked for the computer science department now.
And now, teaches computer science.
I am a professor for the computer science department. I'm a teaching professor for the computer science department, and I have been a head TA for years and years. My degree is technically in electrical engineering, but I picked my degree, I knew I wanted to go to college before I knew what I wanted to do my degree. I think that's common, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the first person in my family to ever go to college, and so my parents were just amazed that I was going. And so originally I picked a major just based on what my favorite thing to do in high school was, which was drama. So I was a drama major for a year.
Drama queen.
It's true. It's not a lie. And in that year, as I was also paying for my school, I started to come to the understanding that my time in school was going to be predicated on whether or not I could afford it after the fact. And so I went and I actually looked at every major that the University of Washington offered, and I started a spreadsheet. And for every major, I added a column for like the average starting salary with a bachelor's degree, the average starting salary for a master's degree, and the average amount of hours worked per week. Because I knew that like doctors and lawyers like worked a ton. And at the time I was responsible for my sister, who was still quite young. And I like knew like probably a doctor or lawyer couldn't like pick her up from school or like drop her off, or they would have to go to grad school.
That's real.
So I like did all those calculations by like amount of money per hour, and then I sorted. And guess what came out on top? And so I tell that story, it sounds like really impersonal, but I think that story is more about how the fact that like clearly I was meant to be an engineer. Like what nerd uses a spreadsheet and like isolates it to explicitly the variables that I knew were important for me.
Yeah.
So I was always meant to be an engineer, I think.
And I think one thing that we always have conversations with when we're speaking with students about like, their motivation to get a job or whatever is we're like, hey, there's no shame in going into it for the money, right? Like we need money to survive in this world. Like, and I think sometimes people can feel like it's a little gauche or you're not supposed to say that.
Yeah.
But, money equals freedom. So,
That's it.
And if we can help people achieve that freedom, like I think that's like a very, I'm here for that.
Yeah.
Here for that.
And that's exactly what my degree did for me in the jobs afterwards. It brought my family a level of freedom that was totally brand new to us. And so I'm forever thankful.
Sick.
Thanks, Excel.
Question 4 is, what GPA did you graduate with?
Let me start.
This is rude. This is rude.
Let me start. I want you guys to know, I was one of those kids. I graduated high school with a 4.0 GPA. I graduated community college with a 4.0 GPA. I got all the way through, like, I want to say, like, the first year at UW. the fucking 4.0 GPA.
Yes, you did.
Okay?
Yes, you did. An incredible accomplishment.
Amazing. I'm very, very proud of myself. But then stats. Screw you, stats 390.
You were such a good student. Didn't they fly you to Washington or something?
Yes, I did win #1 community college student in the state of Washington in 2008. That was me.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I did Kappa.
Yeah.
So and for me, it was very like individually driven. Like, again, we all joke about Asians having tiger parents. I'm very lucky I did not grow up with that stereotype, but I was just like a very competitive individual in my adolescence. I've since outgrown that.
At least in terms of grades.
It's true, in terms of grades. But I think I graduated with like a 3.6-ish.
Oh, okay.
GPA.
Okay.
Like, kind of, because honestly, once I broke the seal on that 4.0, I was like 3.0 and go, baby. Literally, like, my brother Ben and I would like pump each other up before tests, and we'd just be like 3.0 and go.
C's get degrees.
C's get degrees. So I pretty much just, I was going real hard, and then just after that, I was like, we're good. But Kasey, can you please share with the class what you graduated with?
Kim chose this question because I do think it is an important thing to talk about, but I graduated with an overall GPA of 1.9.
On a 4.0 scale. I want everyone to know, in the U.S. terms, that's really bad. That's like a really bad GPA.
Technically, you need a 2.0 to graduate, but the year that I was graduating, you only needed a 2.0 in your majors only courses to graduate. Okay. And so my overall GPA was even under that because I really messed up some math classes I just didn't care about.
Fair.
Part of that is because at the time I was working multiple jobs and paying for my own school. And so I had to make a really firm priority decision of how I was going to spend my time. Mm-hmm. And I did the calculations, and I knew I was particularly good at test taking, and I did not do any homework for the back 2 years of my university experience. I only spent my time and effort on tests and labs. And people ask me if that caused me like issues getting a job or things like that. I just didn't put it on my resume. But also, like, if anybody asked me about it, I had a really strong story as to like what I was doing with my time, how I was still learning to do those skills.
You were also very dedicated as like head TA to the Intro to CS series. Mm-hmm. So I think that like people could see that experience on your resume and know, well, obviously this person is like very capable.
Yes. It was just like a paperwork thing. And so that's the story I always tell about it. But I will, even now in going to grad school and stuff, I still have to tell that story. But honestly, as long as you can tell the story, it has not actually held me back. In fact, I used to make the joke that the only company that actually asked me for my GPA at the time was Google. And I just worked at Google. So it really has not altered or hindered my opportunities in any means. It just meant I had to explain a little more.
You have found other avenues to show that you are capable.
Thank you.
That's like the important part,
That
right?
is a good part, yeah.
I always like to say with this, it's like, I did work my booty off for that 3.6 GPA, but I want you to know, Kasey, for the same job at the same company on the same team, was making more money than me. Yes. So and I'm not saying that money is everything, but I just want to make the point that GPA is not everything. No. GPA is not reflective of your future success or your current success. And I think that for a lot of students that we interact with, that GPA number can be just so debilitating in so many ways. And we assign all this self-worth to it. We assign a lot of self-worth to then our salaries or whatever. Totally. But just... I think I know I always kind of give you a little
but it is a good
but it's
it
a
is
good
a good
reminder.
lesson. Yeah, because truly, and like as a professor, I always tell students, like, if you have a really good GPA, it tells me that you were able to be your best self as a student, and the system works for you and you work the system. If you have a really bad GPA, it just tells me nothing. Mm-hmm. It tells me I have no idea what was going on in your life. I don't know how you interact at school. There's a million reasons you gotta have a bad GPA. So I just need to learn more about you.
Yeah. What else do we have on here? I can't even remember. I can't even remember all the questions.
You're lying. You are lying to us. Name a job you've had that might surprise people. You just target it. You're just seriously pointedly.
No, let me go first.
What is yours? Yeah, what is yours?
What is mine? Mine is so good. From the years of 2007 to 2009, I worked at Abercrombie and Fitch, y'all. Okay. Are you surprised? Surprise Pikachu face at the camera. Are you surprised? You know what? You tell me. Are you surprised? Are you surprised, Vaughn?
Not really. I mean, like,
Wait, okay, now you have to tell me why you're not surprised.
That's an understandable job. I don't know.
It's like a classic.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
Classic mall
Yeah,
job.
yeah.
Okay,
Mall
okay,
I
okay.
respect.
It's
Kim
just
was very
it's
devoted to the
fine.
brand, though. Frankly.
Oh.
I would always, you know what, and I mean, if you guys, what's that Abercrombie and Fitch documentary?
There's an Abercrombie and Fitch
There's
documentary.
an Abercrombie and Fitch documentary about basically how they put all of the brown people in the back and only put
Oh, that's very that's correct.
like only
That is
right.
and if you want to know, I did work in the back.
Kim did.
I did work in the back.
Explicitly, they were like, you were only allowed in the black.
Sorry.
Sorry. Not
So,
sorry,
yeah.
Abercrombie and Fitch.
Abercrombie and Fitch.
We still spent a lot of money there, though.
I still spend a lot of money there. I'm gonna be real. They had a whole rebrand. It looks like Aritzia now.
What? Okay.
Yes.
Sorry, ANF. Okay, what's my job? I will admit, I've had a lot of weird jobs.
Yes.
One of
You know the one I want you to say though.
I assume the one you want me to say is in college. My favorite job is I used to perform at children's birthday parties, and while performing at children's birthday parties, I was many characters. But I had quite the honor of, often portraying Disney princesses.
Yes.
So I was a professional Disney princess, and I would do like magic shows and balloon animals and face painting, and it was absolutely one of the weirdest things I've ever done, but also the most fun, because there is no fun like showing up at a child's birthday and they're like, my best friend who I've known my whole life, Cinderella, is here, and I'm just going to speak to her as if we've never interrupted the conversation I've been having with her my whole life, and I want to show her everything in my room, and I want to see everything in your room, and I love that job.
And
gorgeous.
I love this one because one of my first acts of service for you as your friend when we first met was rewriting your resume.
That's true. Yes.
And, we had to sit down and I was like, okay, well, like, let's talk about all your jobs. And like, one of them was like the party princess job. And you were like, oh, I feel like I shouldn't include that. And I was like, no, time out. You should definitely include that. That is a super fun thing to include. And it's something that you spend time on, but No, like,
Kim really taught me that lesson because at the time I was applying for technical positions, and I've been working essentially full time since I was 14. So I have a bunch of random jobs. And I had taken all the non-technical jobs off of my resume, but you were the one that was like at the very bottom, just something to catch their interest. And I always say, I'm pretty sure you wrote it because I would have never come up with it. It was like, like birthday party princess, like design and develop performances to inspire delight in children of all ages. I know!
Yes, right?
Okay.
I could not put that
Who
resume
needs
in front of me.
ChatGPT? Who needs ChatGPT to write a resume when you have Kim win?
ChatGPT needs you, is what that really is. It absorbed my resume somewhere and it's spitting that out into other people's. But I could not go to a job fair and put that resume in front of somebody without them being like, whoa, what's
It's a
happening
good break.
here?
Yeah, it's a good break to the ice. It's something
Memorable. Good break to the
that
ice.
something that people really just can't help but want to ask you about.
And it was so
it's
lovely.
comfortable.
Yeah.
Sick. Lovely. Okay. Next question is, what is your favorite Kim and Kasey vacation?
Obviously, Kim and Kasey have been on a lot of vacations.
Right.
There are a lot to choose from.
Okay.
There are a lot to choose from. I will say, actually, I know my favorite Kim and Kasey vacation. One I really loved when we went to, we've actually gone to Ireland twice together.
That's right.
But
once for work, once for fun.
Once for work, once for fun. And I obviously have always had an incredible time, both in the Republic of Ireland, but we also got to go to Northern Ireland on our second round. And I just want to say that, the city of Belfast has, a really special place in my heart. And, I'm so thankful to the people there for, sharing what is a rather complicated history so openly with strangers. And my favorite thing about vacationing with Kim is that Kim is so sincerely curious about people. You will meet new people and you have, truly curious questions to ask them. And, watching you ask, Northern Irishmen, about the Troubles, when I was like, you cannot ask people those questions, but you came from such a sincere place and they gave you such sincere answers. That is absolutely, listening to you ask people about the Troubles in Belfast is absolutely one of my absolute favorite things. And thank you, people of Northern Ireland, for being so sweet
kind.
and
They were so kind
and welcoming to us.
I feel like, Erin, you've been subjected to that as we've gotten to know each other, because I think we've only really, I guess we've been hanging out for about a month working on this together, but especially in the last week and a half. This is like our first time really getting to spend so much time together. And like a lot of our in-between times are just like me being like, just getting to ask you a lot of questions, which I really enjoy.
Yeah, no, me as well. They're very genuine. It's like very easy to be like, I'm going to spill my life.
Yes. Like, you're not allowed to ask people if you've killed people before, Kim.
I'm so sorry. I mean, he was getting there, though. That taxi driver was, like, kind of talking about it already.
Shout out to that wonderful gentleman who very appropriately sidestepped that question.
Wonderful.
But, yeah.
I will say, honestly, there have been so many great moments. I will say, I think for me, going to Disneyland together...
Sure.
And mostly because I really have a good time, like, standing in line with you.
We have so much fun.
And just talking.
Yeah.
And just getting to basically just... Honestly, I would say that most of my friendship with Kasey is me chasing Kasey, trying to capture her so that I can just get some time to talk to her. And when we go to Disneyland, she's trapped with me.
It's true.
Okay.
She's trapped with me, and all we do is we just have a ton of time to just stand and talk with breaks of meeting Mickey, eating churros, and going on rides. But true. Like, literally, it's just hours of us standing in line and talking to each other.
Yeah. One time,
is my favorite.
Kim came with me to renew my driver's license, and we missed the number twice because we were talking so much.
We were at the DMV for like 3 hours, and we could have been in and out in 30 minutes, but we just... Because they call numbers, and it's just, I don't know, you just get so involved, and then it's hard. It's really hard. It's hard to keep track.
That's so funny.
Lovely. Next question is, what has been the hardest thing about making this YouTube channel so far? I can't wait for this one.
Okay, for me, a couple of things. The number one thing is not being able to curse. And I've already kind of cursed a couple of times in this video, and Aaron, maybe you'll have to bleep it or whatever for the YouTube algorithms. It has been very hard for me to not just go, enjoy bleeping that later. Like, it's like, I use those words, and honestly, shout out to Crystal Valencia from the 4th grade who taught me how to curse. Wow. And just since then, Crystal, shout out to you, homie.
Canon event.
Yes. And like, it's my favorite way to embellish. It's my favorite way to express myself. I'm never cursing at anyone. I'm just... Okay. That's for another video.
That was a bold lie.
I am, for the most part, not cursing at anyone. Right. But it's been hard. It's been hard. I've been trying, and it's just, we'll figure it out, but.
That's true. I have been really excited to make this content for a very long time because I have truly been teaching data structures and algorithms for 5 years. I've been teaching intro to computer science at the high school level for over 10 years. If you count from a TA, I've been teaching since 2008. And so there are things in my slides that have truly been there for over a decade. I definitely found a bug in some code that I was like, why did nobody tell me? And the hardest thing has actually been to try and like give my brain enough time to think about how to really teach these topics in a totally new way instead of just the little iterative incremental things. And so I'm really excited. I hope it's helpful. Also, I hate all the tops and tails. I hate having to be like, Kim and Kasey.
And on this channel, we're on this channel. We're here to provide resources to help you recruit and have your best season ever. Until then, I'm Kim of Kim and Kasey.
How are you so good at that, like, now? Like,
so naturally.
Yeah. Like,
there are great clips of you that I get to scrub through. the many tries.
I just want to say shout out to all the YouTube content creators out there. Y'all have a hard job.
Yes.
Shout out to Edison. We love you, bro. Like, just I can't even. It's
taught us how to do it.
It's truly. It is real work.
Yeah.
It is real work. Is what I'll say. All right, I think we are at our last question.
When did you know the other was your best friend?
I do know the answer to this question.
I think it might have been the same moment, so I'm going to let you go. I'm going to let you go first.
Okay. We met in that class, and we started doing homework together. And then at the time, like for real, I did not have friends at school. Like, I was convinced I was going to get through college without making any friends. That was my jam. I was like, I just wanted to be an engineer.
Lone wolf.
I was very lone wolf. And Kim hosted a couple study sessions, and she invited me to a study session. Is this the one you're thinking of?
Yes.
And I remember they were in the EE building and your mom showed up with homemade spaghetti, which for context, like I had almost never had a home cooked meal. Like that was a really special thing to me. And I was like, and your mother loves us, and like showed up in college with a home cooked meal. It was amazing.
Like brought like a bottle of apple juice.
Yes.
All the utensils.
Yes.
It was
like
really
garlic bread, and like that was amazing.
Aaron's gotten to eat a ton of Mama Win food.
Yes.
The last couple of days.
I am
So
nourished
good.
by Mama Win food forever and always. And so we had this like fabulous time, and I was just like, and you were the center of everything too. Like everybody was there because they were your friend. Like Kim had made this grouping happen, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like this person is so amazing to me, because I was the absolute introvert lone wolf, and you just were like this effervescent, outgoing, like, and everybody just like loved being around you. And I kept being like, why do you want to hang out with me? Like you have so many friends. Why are you dragging me to things that are like already overflowing with people? But we started talking, we couldn't stop talking. And then like that evening we ended up like, I ended up staying later than even your boyfriend at the time. We like sent him home to sleep.
Yeah.
And we were like sitting in my car.
I think it was
Your car.
It was either the Jetta or the Alert. It was probably the Jetta.
It was probably the Jetta. My college car, we're sitting out front of your like apartment building, and like at the time I had like no friends, and so I had a really big secret, and I told you my secret, and it was literally like the first time I had ever told anybody this secret. And then you told me a secret, and like in that moment we like shared these secrets, and we were like, are we best friends now? I think we're best friends now.
It really felt like that, because like I remember sitting in the car and us just like, yeah, really emotionally connecting. And actually for me it was like one of the first times, and like, sorry, college boyfriend, but like one of the first times that I really felt like I am in speaking with you or talking with you, being able to like reflect on myself on this emotional level that I've never experienced before. Like, you know, when you just meet people that just make you feel so comfortable that you're able to get vulnerable. That's the thing. Like I felt like I had never, you know, and I am somebody who is an open person and who enjoys sharing. And it's like, I really value friendships. But like, I think for you that night, I just was like, whoa, like I've never felt so safe to be so vulnerable.
Yeah.
And that's when I knew. I was like, this girl's my best friend.
Forever.
This girl's gonna be my best friend.
Yeah. It's true. We were like, I always kind of describe us as like instant best friends, but Kim did have to chase me for like a week.
I'm constantly chasing.
Okay.
Listen, I'm still chasing. I'm constantly chasing.
I am not a good texter. ADHD is, anyway.
But that's why it works. Push and pull.
Push and pull. You
push and pull.
are the best compliment to my soul. Forever and always.
Guys, and that's it. That is the Meet Kim and Kasey random Q&A.
Gorgeous.
I feel like that's postable.
Thank you, Aaron, for
I think we're shipping it.
No, I love this. No, dude, 100%.
Guys, until next time, we are Kim, Aaron, and Kasey of Kim and Kasey. See you later.
See you later.
You're so good at the tail.